KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We are live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Hanging around, nothing to do but frown. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Mark Runner, there was rain in my part of the woods today.
I wouldn't sit still for that if I were you. Oh, thank you for that.
Why is it raining on not only my weekend, but I look outside the window and it looks like it's getting ready to rain right now? What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't think you should tolerate it. I think you should demand to see the manager.
Go full Karen.
Yeah. So tonight there is a chance of rain in the Antelope Valley and the Inland Empire. But apart from that, according to all the official sources, I think you and your hair might be safe tonight.
You didn't say anything about my area where I live, and yet it was sprinkling yesterday. It was sprinkling sometime earlier today. I can't accept this. I will not stand for this.
No, I wouldn't either if I were a man of your stature or whatever. You really shouldn't. It's unacceptable. According to the National Weather Service, tonight we just should have some clouds. But according to our wire service, which zeroes in on some specific locations, unless you're in the AV or the IE, you might be able to go ahead and do your oil paintings outdoors tonight.
All right, then. Thank you for that.
Anytime, Mo.
I appreciate that.
Happy to help.
You almost sound somewhat sincere.
No.
Almost.
Please proceed.
And I will. We have a wonderful show for you tonight. We got to talk about Powerball and how it relates to Southern California. Someone won. It wasn't me. It wasn't Tuala. It wasn't Mark. It wasn't anyone at KFI. So I'm told. Again, so I'm told. Oh, I can't verify or validate. I just know producer Michelle told us that we didn't win.
Come on.
And I will take her at her word, but that's what she said. But we'll tell you, at least according to the media, the mainstream media, who actually won the Powerball. And it was sold in Anaheim.
Michelle, you may need to call in to defend yourself. Lord have mercy.
No. We're blocking out the calls. No. No calls allowed. And we have some Chipotle news. And here's a true story. For like the first year that I knew of Chipotle, I called it Chipotle. As far as I was concerned, it was Chipotle. I didn't know it was like a Mexican burrito restaurant. It just looked like Chipotle. I never seen anything like Chipotle. There's no like accent over the E. If there was an accent over the E, then I think I would have recognized it. But all of us,
there is.
There is?
Yeah, in the logo, there is an accent.
There is?
The E. Yeah.
No.
Yes, I promise you.
No, you're lying.
That is how we found out it was Chipotle.
Chipotle. Okay, it says Chipotle Mexican Grill. I'm going to the website.
Look at the logo.
I am looking at the logo. It's so tiny, though.
It is tiny.
No, see, there's nothing over the E.
Oh,
there's nothing over the E.
Your phones, I can show you where
There's nothing over the E on Chipotle.
So suddenly you're like Les Nessman trying to pronounce Chai Rodriguez on WKRP
in Cincinnati. Yes. Tell me.
No, okay. Yes, no, not on this. But when they first came out with it,
they Americanized it.
E. Yes. I think maybe they figured everyone knew it was Chipotle by now.
From now on, it is Chipotle. And we have a Chipotle update for everyone. If you're not going to spell it in Spanish, I'm not going to pronounce it in Spanish. And we have the top 10 most stolen vehicles in Southern California. See if your car is on the list or not. Thank goodness I looked at the list. Mine is not as of yet. And dying time is back. Some dumbass got themselves killed. So we're going to talk about dumb people getting themselves killed. Natural selection. And we got your horoscope as always. And then at 9 o'clock, I'll be joined on the show by Titus Welliver, the star of Bosch Legacy, of course, Harry Bosch himself. That's right. At 9 o'clock, you don't want to miss that at all. And I tell people my job is cooler than yours. This is one of those times. This is just one of those times. I get to talk to people that I really like as far as their work, their acting, and thank you to all for helping set that up. It's hard work. It's not easy. Give credit where credit is due. We had to develop these relationships over years. It's not just that someone just says, hey, you want to talk to Titus Welliver? No, it doesn't work that way. They want to know that you have a legitimate show, that you have legitimate conversations. You're not going to embarrass the guest. You know something about the topic. You have some sort of audience. You have some sort of credibility. And they said, so long as Mark Ronner doesn't ask any questions, we'll give you Titus Welliver.
Makes perfect sense. Now get Eddie Murphy.
You ace-holer. We all know that's not going to happen. But I promise we'll do an experiment. The next time Eddie has anything coming out, in other words, he most likely would be doing press or doing interviews. The next time he does, I'm going to send a pitch, the first segment of the show. And if you don't know, the running joke is whenever I send a request for Eddie Murphy to come on the show, or any show, anything that I've ever done, I usually get a response from Arnold Robinson, his PR person, usually within an hour. And it's always the same. Eddie's not available. And I've never even put like a potential time or day or place. It's always Eddie's not available. Then I started taking it personally and I realized it is personal. It is personal. You won't even have the conversation with me. This has gone on for at least a decade. I don't know what I've said about Eddie to make him not like me or at least not get past the gatekeeper, but I can't even get a real honest response from Eddie's people. So the next time something comes out, I'm going to send out the request during the show so everyone can see this happen in real time. And yes, I'll probably get a response inside of an hour saying Eddie's not available.
How are you with rejection in other aspects of your life, Mo?
I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes I do take it personally after a certain point. I'm not a good salesperson. In other words, I'm not good selling other people's products. I'm not good saying, hey, buy this vacuum cleaner. Or, hey, I got this great new microwave you just want to own. Or, hey, there's this new TV set that your family would be lost without. I'm not good with that. I'm better at selling myself. I have an unflappable belief in myself. I'm my own biggest cheerleader. It worked when I was growing up in dating because the self-confidence was not well placed. There was no reason for it to be there. And Tuala knows what I'm talking about. If you have game, if you can talk, you can get some action.
Do you have any stalking convictions on your record?
No convictions, just accusations.
Okay, all right.
Just charges, which were later dropped.
No.
Elephant in the room.
No. Let's not put that out there.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I didn't win the lottery, and neither did you. Neither did Mark. Sam, who's in for Stefan, he didn't win either. We're all pretty upset about that. But a ticket with all 6 numbers in Saturday night's Powerball drawing was sold in Anaheim at a 7-Eleven. And the player has the option, and we've discussed this before, and here's a perfect example of why I am right. The winning person has the option of receiving the $515 million jackpot in 30 installments. In other words, over the course of 30 freaking years, I'd be 80 freaking 5 if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. Or I could have $243.8 million lump sum payment before federal taxes. So let's just say 50% of that. Let's say $122 million after taxes. Do I want $122 million now and then be able to use it, spend it, I don't know, donate it now? Or some 1/30th approximation annuity? And
6.6 million every year.
No. I would rather have all the money and live off the interest, which could be, I don't know, $700,000 a year.
I'm sorry, it's over 30 years?
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm sorry, then it goes up. 17.6 million.
Whatever.
17.6 million
123 is more than 17. I don't think there's really any debate here. What?
But every year, Mo?
What does every year have to do with anything? You think that I can't handle $17 million a year and I need mommy to hold on to my money, put it in the piggy bank in the event that I may run out of money? No, we're going to put this aside so you don't spend all of it at once.
Just get more.
One day we're going to pull out the whiteboard and just do the math on this. $17 million each year for 30 years is not going to accrue the amount of interest that I would with 122 million, and I can put the overwhelming majority of it in the bank per se, and invest it in money market accounts or some sort of real estate venture which could make it gain in value.
Tawala, you can't expect a man like Mo to scrape by on $17 million a year.
No. I'm not talking about being frugal. It's not about scraping by. It's like being able to make the choice. I'm not trying to leave that decision to anybody. I don't want to be 72 and then all of a sudden someone diagnoses me with cognitive decline and then I lose power of attorney and all of a sudden someone else is making decisions. No, I've thought about this.
You've thought about this?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
yes, I have.
Man.
What do you suppose that'd look like?
I want all control. It's going to be like Brewster's Millions up in this motherfather. I'm going to spend all that before I die. All of it. And I will gladly end up on the front page or the landing page of the LA Times. Idiot radio host spends $122 million in 5 years. Yes, but he did it with a smile and he loved every minute of it. I'm not leaving anything for crumb snatchers or 3 generations removed who won't understand the value of a dollar.
Oh, no, you owe them nothing.
Nothing. Nada. Not a damn thing.
Me, however, you're going to owe a couple million.
Are you saying that you would take the annuity?
I think I need to talk to somebody who's a little better with economics than me. I'm not. That's the side of my brain that doesn't work at all.
Oh, I'm greedy. Put it this way. I know I can do something with it now as opposed to waiting until like 5 presidents from now.
Buy the LA Times while you're at it, will you?
Damn.
You couldn't pay me to buy a newspaper.
That's like throwing money away.
That's not a good investment. No, sorry.
Not at this point.
Sam, are you taking the annuity or the lump sum?
Lump sum. Give it to me all right now. I'm not hesitating. Give it all. All.
And Tawala, he's obviously on the lump sum train,
Yeah, this is decisive.
I just think it's worth investigating. 17 million a year.
You do know that you can take the whole amount of money and then have a financial manager or put it in a trust and then parcel that money out to you if you're afraid of misusing it or spending it. And then you could be on the proverbial allowance where you can only have so much money at a time if you're worried about squandering it.
If I'm going to do that, then I might as well take the 17 million if I'm going to have it doled out for my own money.
No. Here's the difference. And I'm pretty sure that annuity is not going to grow. In other words, in year 30, it's still going to be 17 million. But if I put $100 million in a money market in 2025, I'm getting more than 17 million at that end of the 30 years, assuming I don't touch it along the way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're going to get 17 million regardless, flat. That's it. Your money in your hand can't make you any. If it's not in your hand, it can't make money for you now. That's all I'm saying. I'm greedy.
No, I see your point. It's like listening to George and Lenny of Mice and Men talking about, I can see it, George. We're going to be living off the fat of the land.
For some reason, I thought you were talking about Lenny and Squiggy from
George and Lenny and Squiggy, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
That's where my mind was.
Okay.
Tawala, are you being serious right now? You actually would not take the lump sum?
I have heard arguments for both, and I think it's worth investigating.
He'll spend it on a bunch of mansions.
No, I'm not going to be like that idiot who won the money.
Wait. Tawala, you were dark Trump for a while. Tell the truth.
I learned my lesson. Okay? I learned my lesson the hard way.
I'm going to let you tell the story. I'm just going to ask one question. At your peak, how many properties did you own?
At my peak, I had 9 properties. At my peak. And we had a solid plan, but we got greedy and we did not divest our properties properly at the right time. And when those subprime loans went subprime, we lost it all.
Balloon payments?
Oh my God. It went from making the payments to Jesus. So where's the bankruptcy court at?
Where's that on the economic spectrum?
Where is the bankruptcy court at? It went from there to there very fast.
I got it. Now you are speaking from a standpoint of fear and history.
It's not a standpoint of fear. It's a standpoint of having done research on this as well, as far as what you can do with the annuities more so long term and beyond you than you can do with the lump sum.
What is it you want to do with the money beyond you?
I want the money to last for years beyond me. I mean, look, hey, we don't know what's going to happen to me.
You could put this in a veritable savings account with almost no interest, and you can't go wrong.
You still can do this. You act like you can't do that with $17 million a year.
Okay, let's say I take $17 million in the first year. That leaves me $105 million that I'm not going to touch. You put that $105 million in some sort of, let me just make it real dumb, like a CD, okay? Or a money market account. That money is going to accrue interest exponentially. You will have more money at the end of year one than you had going in. You and your 17.6 million every year, that's what it's going to be. It's not going to grow. You can't do anything with it other than your 17.6 million. But my what is it? It takes 105 million that I put in some sort of investment account. That's accruing interest. Even if I don't touch it, and I'm relegating myself to only, air quotes, only 17 million a year, and I don't touch the 105 million, that 105 million might be 110 at the end of 2 years or something.
This is a foolproof plan, and be sure to hire one of those money managers like you talked about, because they always turn out to be trustworthy.
I'm waiting for Shohei Ohtani's interpreter to get out of prison.
I'm going to bring someone on. I'm booking someone to.
Let's get Joel Larsgaard.
Fine. Yeah, fine. Have him come on so he can explain this.
No, let's text him right now. Let's see if he's available. We'll get to the bottom of this.
The people who make that much money in general are people who take chances a lot of times with their money. So if you're a person who's not used to having that level of money and you win the lotto and you now are blessed with that level of money, how financially irresponsibly do you really think you can be?
He's going to cover everything he owns with gold, everything.
Like, that's the thing. Most of the people who are really financially irresponsible, who lose all that money, are people who took chances trying to get all of that money.
That's damn near everybody.
But if you won the lotto, you didn't take very many chances outside of putting in a buck.
Hello.
Your means of living, your standards of living are a little bit lower at that point. So how financially irresponsible do you really think you're going to be? That you want to separate it out over 30 years so that you can be, so that you can make it.
You
so
obviously have never watched how the lottery ruined my life. You have obviously never watched how people can literally lose it all within, I don't know, how much has the guy who won the last lotto lost already from spending and buying houses and cars?
It's not impossible. I'm just saying, if you have any
it's actually more than probable. There are not enough Mo Kellys out here who win the lottery. Most of them are like Eduardo, whatever his name is, who lose it all within 5 years after winning 500 million.
Okay, yes, just because someone is an ass doesn't mean that I have to be an ass. Like, it's inevitable.
I don't know if I'm going to be
inevitable.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to be an ass. I don't know. We don't know what we're going to do with the money. We could all turn to big A Soles in a minute once we win the money.
Now, listen, there was a show back from when Mo was in his 30s, around 1955, called The Millionaire, and it's a story as old as time. It's all about how every time he gives somebody $1 million, they act like nuts with it, and they destroy their own lives.
Yeah, all I can say is I could manage $1,000. I can manage $10,000. I can manage $100,000. I think I would have enough restraint to manage $122 million.
I believe you.
Because I don't look. I think money's going to make you more of who you are. If you don't live within your means now, you're not going to live within your means later. Okay? No pun. Later with Mo Kelly. I'm just saying, if you have no discipline now, you won't have any discipline later. Anyone who knows me knows that I don't have extravagant tastes. That's not going to change because I have more money. I like living within my means. I like the idea of only being able to spend $35 million if I have $122 million.
Yeah, a mere $35 million. Say it right.
A mere. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere. The iHeartRadio app. Yes, they're all laughing with me.
We need a preposition advisor as well as a financial advisor.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Everyone remembers Saved by the Bell, right? Okay. There was an actress who played Lisa Turtle, Lark Voorhees. Lark Voorhees went to school with Twyla Sharp. Twyla Sharp, to this day, has nothing nice to say about her. What school were you at the time?
I was at Marshall. And since learning of some of the struggles that Lark has gone through, I have changed my tone.
Really?
Yes, because I do not want to unjustly hold such vengeance, such ill will towards a sister from the town.
Okay. And that
Pasadena.
town is Pasadena.
Pasadena, who is probably right now, even if her family or friends are listening, saying, Lark, turn on the radio, they're talking about you. She's like, I don't remember what I did to Twyla. But
you remember.
I remember the reason why I did not get to march in the 8th grade graduation, why I was kicked out of school and told I would never be anything in life. It all has to do with her denial of giving me a number 2 pencil for a test and putting me in a position to cause such a ruckus in the classroom.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
As far as causing such a ruckus, has there ever been a teacher or a student security guard who threatened to duct tape your mouth?
I went to Blair High School in Pasadena. And at Blair High School, I must admit, I was not the best of students. But I can tell you this, while at Blair, had any of the security at that school at that time threatened to do anything close to putting tape on my mouth, they would have been rat-packed. Me and my crew didn't play that.
The family of a 6th grade student in Pasadena says their daughter was duct taped at school for talking too much.
Police are now looking into those allegations. Our Mark Cota-Robles is here with more on the investigation and what the girl's father's saying tonight.
Yeah, David and Ellen, the girl's family is demanding justice, even calling for the arrest of the former school security officer involved in this incident. The girl, Noemi Hurtado, stood alongside her father this afternoon to share their side of what happened. Hurtado, a 6th grader at Blair Middle School in Pasadena. They allege this past Wednesday she was forced by a female security guard to duct tape her own mouth because she was, as you mentioned, talking too much on the playground.
Wait, on the playground?
The playground.
Talking too much on the play. We're not talking about in class. We're not talking about during a test. We're not talking about anything having to do with actual school. We're talking about on the playground.
They allege this past Wednesday she was forced by a female security guard to duct tape her own mouth because she was, as you mentioned, talking too much on the playground. They say she was then paraded from the school office across the campus to her next class with the duct tape still on. Local activist Najee Ali now fighting alongside the family.
I wish a mother father would with my child. I wish. And according to the story, it was a substitute security officer, not even the main one. It was just the one passing through for the day.
Look, I was told to leave school and to never come back at Blair because of allegations, because of just me being at a school where I was not liked, damn it, okay? And the principal said, Mr. Sharp, you're a nuisance and a danger to the student body, and I want you out of here.
But did they duct tape your mouth?
No one at that school, not a single teacher, not a single principal, not a single security guard has ever thought it a good idea to come near me with their hands outstretched as if they were even going to touch me.
All right, I don't want to make this too personal, but I think it's relevant to ask in a real world sense. Mm-hmm. You are a father. You have a daughter who's now in high school.
Yep.
But not much older than someone in a situation like this. If you as a parent were to receive the call from either your daughter or the school saying, Mr. Sharp, there was an incident in which maybe we thought your daughter was not behaving accordingly, and so steps were taken to put duct tape on her mouth because she was making too much noise or being disruptive on the playground. We need you to come up to the school to help us sort this out.
He's going to the trunk.
Yeah, no, I don't know who's going to need bail first, me or her mother. I'm not sure which of us.
But somebody's going to jail.
Someone's going to jail. One of us is going to need bail.
Sam?
Yes.
What say you, Father?
Well, I mean, I got a high school daughter. If that happened with her, I there's no level of, I can't even describe how pissed I would be. I would go ballistic. And I've gone ballistic on a school for stuff that happened with one of my kids. And it wasn't pretty.
Well, there are levels to this. One, the fact that you would think duct tape was an appropriate response to anything. That's the first thing.
When you phrase it like that.
Yeah, well, at least having to do with kids, okay?
Next, you're going to rule out super glue.
Right. Look, you're right next door. Then you have it where you're parading her across campus as to somehow shame her in front of. So it's not like there aren't witnesses. Everybody saw it.
You got to set an example.
Clearly, that was the goal, right? You're trying to embarrass the child in front of the school. Then you're going to have her, I guess, sit in the office administration building for a while until she figures out what she did wrong. All I know is not only is someone going to jail, someone is going to be harmed before I go to jail. There's no other way.
Yeah. Definitely the harm.
But yeah, the times have changed with all this stuff. And when we were in school, we had things inflicted on us that nobody would ever dream of today, starting with putting your hands on the students or, like getting paddled. I had I think my 5th grade teacher picked me up by the hair once. Or the thing where the teacher pounds on your chest with his finger, and if you laugh, you get it even worse.
But since times have changed, we all understand what the rules are. Okay, I've had my knuckles hit with a ruler because I wasn't holding my pencil correctly.
And you're not even a Catholic.
Look, this was a public school. Thank you, Ms. Traver, for helping me with that. I write very beautifully cursive now. Not that I use it anymore. There were different expectations. In today's world, you don't touch people's kids, period.
Every one of the things that you mentioned, all of us, the situations where we got punished by some authority figure in school, happened in a classroom. This one was on the playground.
But yeah, who could be making too much noise, talking too much on a freaking playground?
The kid must have said something that specifically pissed off that one security guard, and then that was it.
Maybe, but the story the security guard was telling was, talk too much, not said some expletive, not said something racial, not said some sort of insult to another kid or another adult or administrator. Talk too much. I'm upset and I don't even have daughters.
I have gone down to my daughter's campus and gone ballistic for far less. For them not allowing her to go back into her locker to get her cell phone, and I had been trying to call and get a hold of her. I have gone down there, both me and her mother, when there was one teacher who decided to single her out repeatedly, and we took issue in numbers because she is the only African-American child in the class, and for some reason or other, she always had to be the one to get singled out and scolded. Even that point was where the principal in between us said, hey, you know what? Let's just end this meeting because this is not going the right direction. And Mr. Sharp, we see that you are beyond agitated right now. You're pounding on the desk and seems let's just leave this all alone. Let's just everyone woo woosah. Let's all just walk away. That is just for what I deem disrespect and disregard towards my child. This is a whole nother level. That's why I said, I don't know who's going to need the bail first. my co-parent or me.
But you're going to jail.
Yeah. And it may be her because it's like, when you get her hot, oh, Lord.
When we come back, Joel Larsgaard of How to Money with Joel Larsgaard is going to join us on the line. He needs to settle something for us. We were talking about the lottery a little bit earlier, whether we should take the lump sum or take the annuity. Joel is going to settle this for us, and if he doesn't side with me, I'm hanging up on him. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Earlier in the show, we were talking about the $515 million Powerball winner, and the ticket was sold at Anaheim 7-Eleven. Make a long story short, I said I would take the lump sum of $243.8 million before taxes. I said it was like maybe $122 million in my pocket. Twala Sharp said he would want the annuity of $17 million per year. Mark, he was just being an instigator. I don't know what he would do.
No, it's important that you get some help to solve this problem that none of us are ever going to face.
You're not wrong. And that help is here. Joel Larsgaard, host of How to Money with Joel Larsgaard, here on KFI every Sunday from noon to 2 p.m. Joel, my brother, how are you?
I'm good, Mo. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Did I set it up clear enough for you to understand what this debate is?
For sure. And I think the last point stands. The likelihood of any of us seeing that kind of money, don't bet on it.
All right. If you happen to have the option to take the lump sum or the annuity, and we estimate it to be about $17.6 million per year, as opposed to the $122 million, which we think the lump sum would be after taxes, what would you do and how would you go about it after getting the money?
Okay. So I would take the lump sum. And the reason I would take the lump sum is because I believe that money would be better off in my hands.
Yes, sir.
That I would be able to invest it, that I would do wise things with the money. I wouldn't, I mean, when you look at what some of those TV shows and stuff, what happens to lottery winners, the vast majority of them go bankrupt because they get those dollar signs in their eyeballs and they're not used to handling big sums of money. And I'm certainly not used to handling money to that extent, but still, I feel like I have enough of like a money work ethic that I would be able to handle that lump sum, do smart stuff with it, and not let it go to my head. That being said, I don't know that that's the advice I would give to most people.
Let me ask you then, what would be the upside of either having an annuity other than you don't spend all the money at once, or having a lump sum and being able to invest it? What types of things would you consider?
So I think when it comes to when you look at the numbers, right? If you get the lump sum, you're essentially taking half the amount of money. But it's kind of like what Shohei Ohtani did with the Dodgers, where he's saying, "Hey, listen, pay me that money later, but I'm going to get a larger sum."
Deferred.
And I think there is, they're taking that deferred money, and there's something about the guarantee as a human that's a really nice thing to have because especially if you feel like you don't know how to handle the money, you're not great at planning, you feel nervous about investing, then taking the kind of guaranteed thing so that you don't outpace your spending and spend money that you don't actually have, that could be wise, right? You got that new influx coming every single year. But if you are somebody who feels comfortable and you're saying, I'm not going to overdo it, and you know what, I can earn a better return by investing, even just like a conservative investment, let's say a 60-40 portfolio, where I'm investing in something like a target date fund for roughly kind of the date I retire. You don't even have to go in some sort of like all stock portfolio, but if you're just picking something like that that's a little bit more balanced, then you will, over time, at least according to the historic stock market, you will certainly most definitely outpace the amount of money you would have gotten had you waited and taken the annuitized payout.
I was saying, and I'm just putting it in real basic terms, let's say I'm not going to have a stock portfolio. I just say I could put it in a money market. I could put in some sort of savings account with a guaranteed rate of interest and just let it sit. And I only take, $20 million a year or something, and I'm still coming out in front, aren't I?
I mean, that's where if you're only saving the money, then you might not come out ahead. Because I think the annuity, essentially it works out to roughly like a 5% return every year on the money that you.
Oh, you are getting interest.
Aside. So
okay.
You're essentially, instead of taking that haircut, the half amount haircut, I think that's why the annuity overall over 30 years works out to being twice as much as the lump sum payout, right? So I think that's essentially assuming something like a 5% rate of return.
Okay.
So if you were sticking it in a savings account earning 3 to 4%, you're likely going to underperform. And so that's where you have to take a little bit of risk with some of that money if you want to see it, if you want to see it grow at a rate that's faster than what the annuitized payout would be. And then again, you're also taking on more risk by having it in your hands. So there is something to the idea, and that's why people do turn to annuities, especially in retirement, or that's why Social Security is so helpful. So even if you have saved or invested some of your own money, it's that guarantee that really does provide people a lot of peace of mind. Because if Social Security didn't exist, and hey, all of your retirement's coming from this portfolio that's 90% invested in stocks, and then some presidents start talking about tariffs and the stock market starts going down, and you're like, wait a second, I banked on this money being there. That's where annuities, I think, for a lot of people can help right the ship, and they can help provide a lot of that emotional calm as well as that kind of steady monthly income.
Tuala would just like to compliment you on agreeing with me real quick.
No. That's not what I'm about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What I was going to throw in is I would say that the majority of people who win the lottery, as small as that number is, there are only a fraction, and I mean the smallest fraction of that, who have the mindset of both you and Mo. Most everyone else is someone like me who would thought he was Black Trump back in the day and was buying property that he could not possibly afford. And so when that went belly up, lost everything. I think that is how most of us are. Most of us would get a hold of that money and it would be burning a hole in our pocket, and we would be the next contestant on how the lottery lost our lives. That is why I said, for the safe bet and for most everyone else who doesn't think like Mo, the genius that he is and the money magnet that he is, most of us are just like, man, here's what I'm going to do with the money. I'm going to buy 3-4 houses. I'm going to buy 15 cars, all the same color, because you know they're going to go up in value. Most of us think like that. And that's the problem with many of us getting that money all up front.
Well, and that's why I said, like, what I would do is actually different from what I would recommend people do, because I think you're spot on that there's a lot of people out there who would see that kind of money, and it's documented too from previous lottery winners. It's so sad how many of them get that influx of money, they spend a bunch of it, and then they're like, wait a second, I owe property taxes on that like $20 million mansion I just bought. Oh crap, I spent all the money, I can't pay the property taxes, home gets foreclosed on. There are way too many of those kinds of stories. So I don't want to tell people like, hey, do what I would do. I'll tell you what I would do, but then I should also say, well, you got to know yourself, because for some people, taking the lump sum, you're liable to like fritter it away much more quickly and leave yourself in a much worse spot, much more vulnerable spot.
Joel Larsgaard, How to Buddy with Joel Larsgaard, here on KFI every Sunday from 12 to 2 p.m. Joel, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all your knowledge and reaffirming everything that I already believed and already knew and telling me I was right.
Solved that problem just in time.
Always happy to do it.
Talk to you soon, my friend. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
What the hell is going on? Well, we're about to tell you.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live